Media Talks TV with your host, Tony J. I guess, I had a thought yesterday and I was watching the news and I realized that, you know, a piece of my childhood is slowly diminishing. I guess you could say it's a sign of the times, but in this era, who reads magazines anyway? Just yesterday, we got the news that Sports Illustrated is actually laying people off. Usually, when you hear about layoffs, you know what that means. I've talked about this recently with Disney and how they're laying people off and cutting back. And, you know, uh, right now, when you think about it, the media industry is in a free fall right now and massive decline. And Sports Illustrated is just yet another magazine that's fallen to the wayside, really is on its deathbed. I never really thought how much Sports Illustrated meant to me. I still get a little bit of the subscriptions in the mail, but I don't even read, to be honest, I don't even read Sports Illustrated that much. Um, I just noticed that, when I heard the news of Sports Illustrated about to go out of business, you know, I went online and I pulled up a couple of commercials on YouTube. And I guess you could say I really felt really nostalgic. If you really go on like YouTube and type in Sports Illustrated 1998, um those were some of my favorite commercials because they would come on Cartoon Network because Time Magazine, of course, owned Sports Illustrated. It was partly owned by Sports Illustrated. Well, no, Sports Illustrated is owned by Time Warner and Time Magazine. So they're kind of bundled together along with Entertainment Weekly. And most of the time when you turn on Cartoon Network, and I didn't realize this until I got older, and you know, I didn't realize how massive Time Warner actually was. That they also had Time Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, and Sports Illustrated as well. And they would actually bundle that up with the cable service. So Time Warner Cable, Time Magazine, Sports Illustrated, all of that stuff was kind of really combined. And between 98 and the year 2000, you started to see this kind of massive conglomerate of Time Warner. But you notice now in the last 20 years, most media industries are now cutting print off for good. And Illustrated is no different. Sports Illustrated is a dinosaur amongst print magazines. Like out of all of those, Time Magazine probably outlasted all of them, and I think Time Magazine and Life Magazine will probably still be around for a while because they got 90 years on everybody. So that magazine has been around. But one of the things about why this is poignant that Sports Illustrated is a dying magazine now. It's a part of everybody's childhood. You know, when you were a kid, you didn't read it for the sports. You read it for the swimsuit models. Hell, I read it for the swimsuit models. I like that's the only reason I actually like Sports Illustrated. Let's just be honest here. You were a kid in the 80s and early 90s. You were looking at the swimsuit models. You weren't looking at the sports. Come on. Let's just keep it real here. But they did have some good memorabilia. They offer VHS tapes for NFL highlights and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was a good while it lasted. You know, it was so many football Hall of Famers in there, 49ers, and especially they had when I brought up Sports Illustrated in 1998, they had this commercial running on Cartoon Network. I don't know if you remember it, but it's one of my very favorite commercials because that's how I know and I remember Sports Illustrated being one of those great magazines. They had a collector's edition for the Chicago Bulls, and they had an autograph book with Michael Jordan. They had all this stuff with Michael Jordan. I don't know if anybody got that back in the day, but if you actually had those commemorative editions of Sports Illustrated with Michael Jordan, keep them because it's going to be worth a lot of fucking money. Um, One of the things that I have always been so adamant about was, when Cartoon Network would run Sports Illustrated commercials, I'd always like that idea that, Sports Illustrated was a magazine that was a part of everybody's childhood. So to just find out that they're scaling back and cutting back, and you know, it's kind of understandable, but then it's like, you miss the kind of nostalgia of it all. And Sports Illustrated is just one of those things. It's like, things are changing when your favorite magazine goes to its deathbed. I mean, things are really changing really rapidly. There's no more Jet Ebony magazines anymore. You go over somebody's house and Jet and Ebony magazine be sitting on the table. No more Black Enterprise. But the thing that was crazy is that they never went over to digital publication, which I'll never understand. I'm like, why why keep doing print when nobody is reading print anymore and people don't do print journalism like they used to, so those are the things that I find very, egregious about Sports Illustrated not really keeping up with the format, keeping the format the same, but actually, switching up the vehicle in which they carry that message, you know, because magazines are a dying breed. Like, nobody wants to read a magazine. I haven't seen anybody sit down and read a damn magazine, read a damn newspaper, read a book. That's kind of, boomer shit. You know what I'm saying? It's boomer shit. You know, boomers read newspapers, boomers read magazines, boomers read books. Millennials, we're used to things being on desktops, being on tablets, you know, and you forget about Gen Z. They're not even gonna touch a magazine. They don't read. So you got a whole new generation of kids that don't really read Sports Illustrated. And, for those 80s babies and those, Gen Xers and stuff like that who grew up reading or actually seeing the swimsuit models and stuff. They keep whole collection in their closet in a box where nobody can touch them. Like, those guys got to be a part of a great era in Sports Illustrated history, because you go through a Gen Xer's house, you're gonna find a Sports Illustrated magazine, and it's gonna have his favorite swimsuit model in it. So I just feel like, now it's like you're grieving something. And I think for me personally, it just marks the the very real end of an era, because once Sports Illustrated leaves, it kind of creates a domino effect. Time Magazine is going to be next. So I promise you that Time and Life Magazine aren't going to be around very long. Their days are numbered. Because if Sports Illustrated can die just like that, who's to say? Well, Life Magazine, Time Magazine, they're next. Media companies are getting out of the print business. They've been getting out of the print business. They don't want to deal with it because there's not enough subscribers, there's not a lot of readers. Nobody wants to fucking read those issues. So it's like, well, why waste all that money trying to print out magazines and keep people on subscription rules and they're not going to read them? I mean, I literally got Sports Illustrated in my mail. I've never touched the fucking thing. I'm like, who the hell? I'm sitting here asking myself, why? How the hell am I fucking subscribed to Sports Illustrated? And then they send me this little leaflet in the mail talking about $67 subscription fee. And I'm like, I'm not even fucking subscribed to Sports Illustrated, but they keep putting it in my fucking mail for some odd reason. I'm like, I don't read this shit. So it just kind of dawned on me how they keep like these magazine companies, and some of these magazine companies, they put it in your junk mail, they shove it in your mail, and then you gotta subscribe to it. If you don't subscribe, then they send you a fucking $70 bill. And I'm like, I'm not subscribed to this shit, so why are you sending me a fucking bill? Now I found out I got a bill in collections for $67 for fucking Sports Illustrated that I haven't read in like 15 years. So it's just fucking ridiculous. Like they were really, really desperate. And you'd be that fucking desperate than to put a non-paying subscription in the mail to try and get more subscribers to subscribe, only to try and generate some type of bill or invoice to make us pay. It's like they handcuff us to this print shit because they know we're not going to read it. That's the fault of Sports Illustrated, because they should have switched over to fucking digital in the first goddamn place. You know, that goes without saying. Media industry is in a state of disarray with the issue of streaming, people cutting programs, people cutting off services, and like this year they took Dexter's Laboratory off of HBO Max, which I will never understand. Had to buy it on Amazon Prime, took it off Boomerang. They took it off that service, took it off Cartoon Network. So you can't get those shows. And you can't get Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which is another fan favorite that I grew up watching. So it's like a lot of these media companies, they're cutting certain things off because they realize they can't sustain all these services, with streaming being the main primary thing that people rely on. You know, I feel like, with HBO Max, HBO Max is going to get even a lot more expensive. I've had to change my subscription base to an ads base subscription because I'm not paying $15 a month. I could tolerate ads on my shit. I'm not giving Amazon another extra $2 so they can take the ads off my shit. Not doing it. And I know you're not doing it either. People get tired of these media companies fucking price gouging. And that's all they do is price gouge. And then they shove ad revenues down your throat. And then you're paying even more than what you initially paid in the last 2 years. I don't know who the hell's watching Netflix besides maybe a few comedy specials. Netflix is gone and shit. When's the last time you really watched a show on Netflix that much? I mean, that's the state of the media industry right now. They're trying to price gouge for subscribers because we live in a subscription based economy. And if I could cut the services and get rid of certain things, if I don't need them anymore, then now it's like, okay, if these subscribers are going over to Paramount Plus and they're leaving Disney Plus, then what are we gonna do? Then we gotta up the price to $9.99 from $8.99 to $9.99. Then next year up to $11.99. It's just fucking ridiculous, you know. But just to see Sports Illustrated just collapse like that is just it's a canary in the coal mine in a sense of what's to come for the media industry. I mean, you think about Disney, of course. Disney is now trying to expand. I think Bob Iger is literally I think he's just destroying the company totally. Like he just literally like he should have stayed in retirement. You know, Bob Iger just should have stayed retired. He didn't have to go back into the fray of messing up Disney. Now he's messed up Disney, but that's a separate video I'm going to jump into. But you know, I just wanted to make that clear. You know, Sports Illustrated is one of my favorite magazines, but it's symbolic. It's like watching Playboy die out all over again. To be honest, and it's like, well, no more Victoria's Secret, no more Playboy magazine, no more Sports Illustrated, and then Sports Illustrated kind of got woke and shit, got too conscious, just destroyed every damn thing. Same thing with Disney. Seem like they're not interested in making real movies. They interested in all this political shit to try and make Disney more inclusive when they've already been inclusive in the first place. So, it's telling of a lot of these CEOs though. You know, and that's the thing. Bob Iger, uh, what's his name? David Zass. I forgot his name. Let me think about that. Like, what's his name of that? David. Oh man. David Zaslav, primary one that killed Cartoon Network. I mean, we got some hard times ahead, man. Got some hard times ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, this has been another episode of Media Talks TV. I'm Tony J. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button because I got more videos coming. I got that new Roland Martin video coming soon, still in the editing process, so be on the lookout for that. And hit the like and subscribe. You know, get my videos in the algorithm moving up, moving on up. You know, but this has been another episode. Thank you for listening, and it's been Media Talks TV, and I'm out.